up, gamers? I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dice and Dragons, we're covering it at last as the follow-up game has finally been released by Fantasy Flight Games, the publishers of this game. We decided to get this classic, at least for us, a classic back to the table. This is really Julie and I's first board game experience together, and we've talked about covering this since she joined the channel. So it's been probably a little too long actually, but we've played a lot of great games and really happy to get this one back to the table. It is Descent 2nd edition, Journeys in the Dark, based on 1st edition by Kevin Wilson. It is designed by Adam Sadler, Konieczka and Daniel Clark. And just to say it again, to keep going with my usual flow, published by Fantasy Flight Games. Now take it away, Julie. Tell them more about the game itself.
So this is a cooperative dungeon crawl that's intended for ages 14 and above, plays 2 to 5 players, and each mission campaign is about 2 to 3 hours. You might be able to play it a little faster, but the box says 2 to 3 hours.
Yes. Also, the term on the box is for the 1 versus many version of the game. That's how you will play it 5 players. It is a 4-player game, which is how we primarily played it with the app, or if you get one of the separate cooperative campaign boxes that we have yet to dive into, actually. So we still have plenty of time to spend with this game. Now, we have the entire set of Descent, and it's all mixed together. So we're not going to be doing a components breakdown. We're going to move straight into the review. As you can see, we are actually in the middle of a mission right now. We've played the first campaign, which I'm forgetting the name of it right now. We've also played the tutorial, and I think we've been through part of the Naricol campaign, the one which we're actually playing right now, a couple of times. So this game is easily at the table in app form close to about 30 times, if not more than that. So one of our favorites that's, in terms of campaign games, only been surpassed by Journeys in Middle-earth.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to get this to the table. We want to see what this is like before we experience Legends of the Dark. And we'll probably have to take this campaign and set it aside as we play the new game, but we're definitely going to finish it this time. Pinky swear, come on. Yes, I want to finish this campaign. So, without further ado, we're going on to our review. So, Julie, let's adjust just a little bit here. I'm not quite looking at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, these are the things that happen when you go straight into a review. So, Julie, what do you think of Descent, Journeys in the Dark, 2nd edition, now that we've gone it back to the table after playing so many other campaign games? We've played some Imperial Assault, so it's not like we've been that far away from the system, but it's still been a while.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, there's a reason why this one's one of our favorites. I do enjoy playing it. It's been fun playing Tara again, the Widow Tara. She's lots of fun, and I'm just getting her built back up, powered up a little bit again. So
as you can see, we picked some of our favorite characters. We didn't go with the tons of different characters. We're like, let's go with the classics, mainly the core box characters, actually.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a lot of fun. There's more. I find that there's more monsters in this than more fighting monsters than dungeon crawl. In this case,
well, no, dungeon crawl really is going to the dungeon and fighting monsters. You're talking more about the exploration aspects from games like Journeys in Middle-earth and Folklore of the Affliction, where you have a lot of exploration on a map. Even then, you do have some exploration on like battle map style stuff as well.
Yeah, I guess if I compare the two, I think I may be giving Journeys in Middle-earth a little bit of an edge over Descent. Maybe because of the storytelling and the fact that there's a little bit less. It's not all combat. This feels a little bit more combat heavy than I remember it. For some reason, I remembered more search and more things like that. But it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. It's nice to get these characters back to the table.
And even though Descent is a lot more combat heavy, I mean, you're chucking dice and doing stuff. I do enjoy combat in Journeys in Middle-earth, but there's just something about a dungeon crawl with powered up characters, chucking dice, and just feeding monsters. And I don't know, I really do...
Feeding monsters or defeating monsters?
The feeding.
I heard feeding monsters. I'm like, why are we feeding the monsters?
Well, if you keep interrupting me, maybe I'll feed you to the monsters.
Oh, yes, he would. He definitely would. I mean, it's fun having them. It's fun having them power up, but it really became very evident that this game is very dice chucking dependent, because we had a night where we just couldn't roll to save our own lives.
Okay,
apparently we could roll to kill ourselves.
Yes, very much so. And it's in 30 plays, we've only ever fudged a mission one time, and fully admit to doing it because we had terrible rolls, as Julie said. It was also late, and we were just like, wow, this mission should be done already. It was a mission we'd already played before. We knew what to expect, and we were literally making all of the wrong decisions. But
not making the wrong decisions, just rolling horribly.
Well, that as well as not making the best decisions. We put ourselves in a few bad spots where it's like, I should have opened the door, and it's just, we could have played better. But yes, the die rolls did not help. When I roll a miss, and then the next two goblins go, I'm like, oh, they do 14 damage. Why can't I do that when I'm rolling the dice?
Yes. Well, when you're rolling the dice for you to attack.
Yes, exactly. I really, one thing I do have to admit, I like the storytelling in Journeys in Middle-earth better. I like the storytelling in non-app assisted games. Just clarification, we are discussing the game, as we mentioned, playing with the app, the cooperative mode. We have not yet played the one versus many version of Descent, so can't really comment on the storytelling. But the newer games by Fantasy Flight Games, didn't realize it was going to come out like that, do the storytelling bit a lot better. It's just cleaner, better executed. And I love the fact how Journeys in Middle-earth really brings you into the world of Tolkien with everything that's going on and the emergent story as you're playing through the game and the events that happen. I do find that the Nergal campaign is very interesting. I'm loving where the story is going, but it's very much exterior from the dungeon crawl itself. And I think that's where you're feeling a little bit of the weakness. We can spend, like 15 minutes, not even at the table here. We'll often take the app upstairs with us afterwards. We'll do our shopping, have all sorts of experiences. And that's all really cool, and we have a lot of fun with that. But I would like to see that element more present in the game. I think that's one of the reasons why we're getting this updated and new style of game to really bring Descent forward in time in terms of that storytelling element. And I've seen some good stuff on it so far. People really seem to like it, and I'm looking forward to playing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of our favorites for a reason. I just really feel like it's a lot of fun, and I like the fact that you can keep powering up, and we're just, with a little bit more experience as well, we're learning how important it is to search, and it's allowing us to power up a little bit more. I think if I remember correctly, we wanted to replay this campaign because we didn't love how it went the first time.
Well, yes, we've actually started this twice. The first time we played with the characters from the core box, you were actually not the core box, the Shadows of Nergal box. And once this campaign is complete, we will have a review of that coming on the channel. I played with Oracle, primarily the warrior. He just wasn't cutting it as a berserker. Just wasn't what I was used to. We ended up picking it up again, and I think we actually got to about this same spot, maybe just actually completed the mission that we have set up on the board right now. And I had a better warrior. We had some different characters. But still, I don't know, there was just something that wasn't quite jiving with us. You were using Logan, I remember now. You were playing as Logan Lashley, who's a really cool character, but a lot of his strengths comes from playing against the Overlord. So while he's one of the top tier Descent characters, he just wasn't really shining in the app. That's when you had the treasure hunter with the whip. Mm-hmm. And our interest waned a little bit, mainly because we sort of restarted it, and it just ended up getting put aside. I think the new Imperial Assault campaign or something else came that was a big dungeon crawl, and we just didn't get back to the table. But we got that little extra motivation now, and I'm really happy that we did, because I like this game just as much as I did when we first got it. There's probably a little bit of nostalgia to there because some of the rules are a little bit rough around the edges compared to Imperial Assault and compared to some of the newer dungeon crawls. But it doesn't bother me. I just have so much fun going through the dungeon, fighting the monsters, working together as a team, and getting stronger and actually having a really well done story. The story's great. It's just, dungeon crawl, story. Dungeon crawl, story. With some elements that show up in the dungeon. And then you do spend a lot of your time on side missions. And I say maybe that's probably one of the reasons why you feel like the storytelling in this isn't as well done, because you're often on branching side quests. This is actually the 5th mission in this campaign that we are currently playing, and it is only our 2nd of the story missions. Now you can skip ahead if you want, but why would you want to do that? You want to be as strong as possible when you're going to be taking on these story missions, and we are, gluttons for leveling up. We spent 10 hours wandering around, lost in Tainted Grail, just to become overpowered. Well, not really. We actually did get lost, but we really like being overpowered.
Yep. I don't have anything else to add. I mean, it's there's not much negative besides the fact that it's it's highly dependent on your dice roll. So if you don't...
Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Our camera got knocked out by a goblin archer. It happens. Those things hit a lot harder than you expect, more often than you would think. So, as you were saying, Julie, if you don't like die rolls,
or if you don't like chucking dice and you don't like being dependent on what happens because of your die roll, this probably isn't the game for you.
No, but if you're looking for a classic dungeon crawl experience, probably I'd say out of all the games that we've played so far, the one that comes the closest to replicating, that Dungeons and Dragons style of combat of getting gear, chucking dice, and smashing monsters. Just a combat aspect, by the way. When it comes to role-playing and things like that, you might want to take a look at something like Folklore the Affliction. This is one of the best. It's a game that is never going to be leaving our collection. We have a full set, so we have tons of content to play. We even have the Red Jack automated Imperial cards that I've got downloaded. Got to get those printed professionally at some point, because that means we can actually play the campaigns in the box cooperatively. And since we got everything, that means we've got, I don't know, probably like 10 years worth of Descent to play still.
Okay then.
Yeah, and we still have a whole other campaign to play on the app as well. The Embers of Dread campaign, the Endless Delve. If you do get everything for Descent, you can play this game for a very long time. And in positive stuff, I want to say some people have criticized the art, and when it comes to some character designs, especially some of the ones that aren't in the core box, I definitely understand that. But I really like the art in this game. I love the art on the box. I love just that style art that we have on the character sheets. I'm used to seeing these characters. I mean, this art's been used multiple times in different Terranoth set games. Also, the minis, I mean, they're not the best minis out there, but they're still really good. And I think we forget a lot of the time and take for granted just how good the Descent miniatures were for the time that they came out. So overall, everything looks great. And also, if you do follow us on Facebook, we do share lots of our pictures, and I saw someone painting up their miniatures. They've been commenting on our posts, sharing the pictures of Descent. If you want to see some beautiful minis, you should check it out. It goes to show just how high quality this game was when it came out. What is it now? It's almost 9 years ago, so in 2012. So this is an old one, but it's a good one.
Well, see, and if you consider that, also these cards, this has stayed on the table for a while now because we've been playing it for a little while. The cards have not been affected by, we have a little bit of humidity. We're playing, our game room is in the basement, and some games it definitely shows. This, the tiles have been played, as Jason said, multiple times, and, they still look great, and as do the cards. And, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that Jason goes a little bit sleeve happy when he wants to keep a game for a long time, and as you can tell, the cards are not sleeved, so it's just a testament to the quality of the components that we have. So that's another positive for this game.
Yeah, the only cards you really shuffle regularly are the search cards, which are right here, and you'll notice there's absolutely no damage to them. All you got to do is shuffle them carefully, so there is no real need to necessarily sleeve this game. That being said, if our little guy decides he would like to play this, we are definitely sleeving the cards if he's at a young age. I don't want it to get damaged.
Yeah, I spoke too soon. So are you ready to give it a rating?
Hey, I didn't say I was going to. It's just if he wants to play it, he'll probably be interested in the newer stuff. And then I'm not as worried. But this is out of print, so, you know.
So I'll give it my rating.
Yes, go ahead.
This is an 8. It is still, I've compared a lot of games to it, and I'm glad to see that it still holds up for me.
I'm actually going to rate this higher than you. I'm surprised. This is an 8.5, and I think I'm giving it a little bit, that extra half point, because I bought this game. We actually started playing Imperial Assault with some friends. We were doing one versus many. I knew that this had an app version of the game and, well, a way to play it cooperatively. And I wanted to show Julie kind of like what I do on the weekends at the time. This was when we just started getting together. It wasn't that long after I was playing Dungeons and Dragons with a group of friends. And this was a great way just to show her, like, here's a similar thing that we do, but maybe you'll have a lot of fun with this. She liked board games, and this became our thing, especially after we had to cancel vacation plans because of a hurricane. And wow, we binged through a campaign real quick once we got back to Canada.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, so just a lot of good memories in there, which is making you get a little bit of a higher rating, but highly recommended. Hoping that, Legends of the Dark gets a similar rating in that 8 range, or maybe even gets a higher rating. I'd love to be able to, we'll definitely do some comparison.
I don't think I've given a 9 yet. It'd be nice to give a 9.
You've given a 9 before. I think it's only happened like one time, but it's a while ago. I don't remember what game you gave a 9 to.
Me neither.
Maybe not. I don't know.
I think I gave it an 8.5. Anyways, we'll have to go through the rating at some point. But that being said, some pretty high scores. Obviously, this game still holds up. On that note, I think it's time to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when we have some new content.
And take a look down below in the video description. You'll find links to all of our social media feeds, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You'll see plenty of pictures of Julie and I playing Descent, Journeys in the Dark, and Descent, Legends of the Dark when we get there to the table. That will probably be showing up this weekend after we wrap this up and store it for just a little bit. It will still come back to the table. And also down below in the video description, you'll find links to all of our social media feeds, as well as the link to multizone.ca. Sorry, I think I said the social media feeds twice, but check out the link to multizone.ca. It's a great Canadian game store. Click that link, get 10% off your next purchase, and a portion of that purchase is returned to us, so it's a great way for you to support the channel. And also popping up in front of us will be links to some of our previously released videos. In front of me is our most recent release, and in front of Julie will be our review and how to play of Descent Legends of the Dark when it comes out. Until then, we'll take you to Journeys in Middle-earth. Unless you have some objections.
Nope.
And what time is it, Julie?
Time to grab our drink.
Grab our best friend. This is only the first time we're doing it in this review. We changed it up a little bit.
And we're going to keep playing games.
Keep playing games, especially this one. 10 years worth of Descent. Well, if we play one campaign a year, that is.